So in this video, we will talk about OSPF route preference, how OSPF prefers routing when it has multi-area topologies. So if we were to review the OSPF areas, we've got areas in OSPF that is 0, which is required. It's called the backbone, and all the others, right? And that could be any number, and those could be, that's considered inter-area routes. Backbone is the only required area in OSPF. So in this topology, what I have is I've got area 0 configured in this area, in these links, and I've got these configured as area 0 as well. These are dummy interfaces, and they're in area 0 as well. So what we're going to do is see how to influence OSPF routing. So right now, these two routes, which are the same IP addresses, will come into the VMOS routing table as two routes. One coming from this area, this link. This is a 12/24.1.2, and this one is a 13/24.3.1. And since I'm advertising both their prefixes from the same area, area 0, these routes will be considered as intra-area. Intra routes. And if I change these to some other area number, they'll be considered as inter. So OSPF will first prefer intra-area routes, right? Let's just see how we can influence intra-area routes. So for example, I'm getting these two routes, same prefixes as intra-area. Now if I want to influence trying to go to V2 instead of V3, or eliminate this route altogether, I can do that by implementing cost. So I can influence by increasing the cost here or decreasing the cost here. Lower the cost, better the route. So I can influence that for the intra route by cost. Lower cost is better. And if I get the same route, one from area 0, so it's going to be intra, and the other one I'm getting from an inter, so that would be, let's just say area 3, and if I influence this to be a better cost and this to be a worse cost, I would still prefer the intra, because that's how OSPF is going to work. OSPF always prefers intra over inter, no matter what the cost is. And then once the intra-inter route is compared, you have external routes. And if these routes are coming externally, OSPF will always prefer external type E1 first and then E2. So that's how OSPF prefers routing. Let's just quickly see how that pans out in our VIOS topology. Here's my router VIOS 1. See if I can fit all this in one picture. This is router V2 and 3. I've configured the basic connectivity with OSPF, so I'm getting an OSPF route. Here you go, 100.111/32 I'm getting from 12.002 and 13.003. And they're coming as intra area routes right now. If I have to change the preference, I would within the intra route, I would just go set interface. Now this one is coming from E1 and E2. So let's say if I want to prefer E1, I'll just go increase the cost of E2 or increase the cost. Right now the cost is 20. You can always check the cost. Run show IP OSPF interface. Let's just check the cost of E1. It's 10. E2, it's 10. So let's just make it less for E1 so that I only get E1 as my route. I want to prefer this guy. I don't want to load balance. Set interface, Ethernet E1, IP OSPF, cost. 10 was the default cost. I'm going to set it to 1. Okay. Run show IP route. And there you go. I'm going to 2 by decreasing the cost. Let's check it out. Ethernet 1, cost is 1 now. We decreased it, and Ethernet 2 is stayed as default. That's one way of, influencing your routing if it's intra area cost. Okay. Now, what we're going to do, watch what happens. Right now I'm going to 12.002 because it's a lower cost. Now I'm going to put this guy 100 over here. I'm going to put this prefix into a different area, right? So let's just erase this. And with this guy in area 2, even though it's lower cost, and this one in area 0, it's already in area 0. But what's going to happen is that when I put this in area 2, OSPF is going to start preferring this one even though the cost is higher. Okay. So again, here is 100.111 going to 12.002 right here because it's got lower cost. But once I change the area here from 0 to 2, OSPF will prefer intra route no matter what the cost is. So the intra route, this would become an intra route. It's going to prefer this one instead of inter route, which is a different area here. So let's do this. I'm going to go show OSPF. See, it's coming as area 0 right now, and it's preferring, this guy's preferring 12.002 because we influenced the cost. I'm going to change this going to set this to be area 2. So now this is an inter-area route with lower cost. But guess what? This was an intra-area. So now from 1202, it'll go to 1303. There you go. Because now it's an intra-area route coming from 13 of VIOS 3 compared to VIOS 2. All right, so there you go. You just saw how it preferred intra, and the cost was compared to see which one to prefer out of the two intra. And when you change the intra to inter here on VIOS 2, it automatically preferred the intra route, the same area route, even though the cost was low. So that's your intra-inter. Now, let's do the external routes. External is the last one, but out of the two external, it'll prefer E1. So, I'm going to delete the routes, 100 prefix. It's coming as this inter, show protocol OSPF. Here it's coming as intra. Let's delete it and make it external. Both of them. Delete protocol OSPF. Area 2 is network 100. Delete protocol OSPF. Area 0, network 100. So now 100 is going to disappear. It's no longer coming. Let's advertise 100 as an external route. Set protocol OSPF. Let's just do run show interfaces. So we only have 3 IPs, 2 IPs here. So if I do redistribute connected, it should only do this one, but it'll also go with 127. So we're going to ignore 127 when we see it. Set protocol OSPF. Redistribute connected metric 1. Commit. There it is, coming as an external. Unfortunately, VIOS doesn't spell out whether it's intra, inter, or external. Cisco does it. You'll have to go in the database, which is fairly confusing if you're learning OSPF. So I'm going to avoid that. Protocol OSPF. Redistribute connected metric 1. So you should see 2 equal routes now. One coming from VIOS 2, the other one coming from VIOS 3. Run show interface. So it's preferring 12.002 for right now because there is a cost associated to it. So let's fix that. Show IP OSPF interface. Interface Ethernet 1. The cost is 1. That's why it's going there. 2 is 10. So let's fix that. Show interface delete interface Ethernet 1 IP OSPF cost. So now it would have 2 equal costs for the prefix. There it is. So you have two external routes coming. So if you go back to your picture, now you basically have eliminated these areas. You're just bringing in 100 as a external route, right? So these are external routes now because we are redistributing them. So let's go. And they're coming as equal cost path because they're coming as default E2. If you just redistribute anything, it'll default come as E2 without adding any cost. Now let's prefer this guy, EOS 1's route. So we're gonna do show protocol OSPF. So we have redistribute connected metric 1, so we're going to say delete protocol OSPF redistribute. And then we're going to do set protocol OSPF redistribute connected. And then we're going to do metric type 1. That's the preferred one. Okay. And then just do metric and just keep the metric as 1. Show protocol OSPF. You just would connected metric type 1. It will prefer type 1 first and then E2. So metric is still 1 and metric is still show protocol OSPF. Metric is 1, except that this one is E1. So it should prefer going to V2, right? Right now it's preferring both of them. There it is. So it'll prefer E1 routes in the external. So that simple setup of your VOS routers with OSPF could really help you understand how the OSPF preference is for routing intra, inter, and then in the external E1 first and E2 second. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Hope this helps.